Today is Wednesday, August 17th, 2016, and you're tuned into the Elevator Radio Show podcast. Hey, everybody, got a good show for you today. Short and sweet, right to the point. Stay tuned. Here it comes.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds,
when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway?
Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, if you're listening to the podcast, or you would hear those wonderful screams of yippee, yippee, yippee. And but if you're watching, you'd realize that, there's nobody here actually in the actual, in my office or studio, as I like to call it, where I do the show. But hey, welcome to the show. It's good to have you here. It is another edition of the Elevator Radio Show, show number 438. And I'm tired. I'm tired. As I wrote in my blog post, I would love to see the day, and I throw this out there before, I'd love to see the day that the elevators, escalators, moving walkways are no longer in the news. And, maybe it comes down to me kind of not looking for them. Maybe that's the key. Maybe the goal is to maybe get more types of interviews out there on the program if I can work them in, that kind of thing. I think maybe we got to go in that direction. I think it's time, and I think part of the issue that I have is getting up every Wednesday morning is tough. Oh my gosh. I realized it the other day. Well, I actually realized it for a while that when I get up early for these Wednesday shows, that is a long day. I usually crash. My eyes close in bed like literally around 8:30. I try to stay up until 9, but I'm out. Just get a great night's sleep. Tonight I'll get, and then Thursday morning I'm tired, and it's just hard. You know what I mean? So my challenge to everyone out there is to do your job, and I don't mean to say that you're not doing your job or that there are not stupid people out there doing stupid stuff, but the reality is let's do our job to the best of our ability so that accidents don't occur, whether you're working on equipment, whether you are inspecting equipment. I would love to see the day when there is not a single news story that relates to elevators, or the only news relating to elevators is grain elevators. All right, that's my challenge to everyone out there. Let's see what we can do, and because I'm getting tired. Didn't realize I've been doing this since 2005, and as always, I appreciate everybody, joining me each week. We've got some long-time listeners out there, and many of you who I deeply consider my family, my work family. And as I was trying to explain to somebody I work with late last night during a short meeting, we're all a big dysfunctional family, whether it's when we leave our job or when we're in our job, but ultimately we want to make sure we're all safe. So anyway, that's my challenge to everybody out there. Hey, I want to thank Bob. Bob was nice enough to share some information regarding last week's news article. And this is Bob Shepard, Executive Director of NACE International. Bob, thank you for sharing the information we were talking about. I've mentioned this before, but I've never had anybody reply to it regarding the escalators and the over-the-side incidents and accidents out there. And I don't know if you knew this or not, but a long time ago, David Cooper in the UK from Lex Elevator Consulting actually did a study on it, where I sat in a study of over-the-side escalators, a pretty prevalent in the UK at the time. So it's definitely an issue, and this is probably, I don't know when that show was, to be honest with you. I think it was in Vancouver, so that was quite a long time ago. Anyway, but Bob was nice enough to share that the IBC building code requires extended balustrades on escalators, but not a 17.1. And then he continued to say that Miami-Dade, Florida is the only jurisdiction in North America which actually enforces it today, but that he knows of, which I think that's awesome. I mean, I think that's the direction we got to go in, and if we can prevent these kind of accidents from occurring, then I'm all for it, and because it's hard to do that. And he also mentions that there's been some conversation talking about adding it to A17.1, and I think we might see. I mean, I can imagine there might be pushback from majors, but ultimately, something has to happen because this kind of stuff is going to continue to occur. So anyway, Bob, thank you so much for writing. You had that email to me like literally pretty quickly after the show, so I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for your insight, and it's guys like you and gals like, not you, but other gals, anybody who writes and comments either on the Facebook page or any article regarding this kind of stuff, and I greatly appreciate that. So thank you. All right, we're going to up into the news next, and I should have you out of here in a pretty quick time frame. So hopefully everybody's enjoying your summer as it is coming to a close, unfortunately, and you're enjoying the Olympics as well. So up next, we'll get right into the news.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
So if you're watching the podcast on YouTube or one of those other wonderful aggregators, you'll see, and if you're listening to the podcast, you guys can't see, I've got my TSSA or TSA safety blue shirt on, which we used for one of the NAC conventions, I think 3 years ago, and I didn't realize how blue they were until my teammate, my coworker guy, I was traveling through the airport, and we left on the same day I think the show ended, and we had these blue shirts on, and I'm literally looking at the TSA agents, and I'm like, oh gosh, I picked the wrong color for a work shirt. But it's one of those Dickies shirts. I wish I fit it a little bit better. I'm not quite kind of a slimmer fit, and everything they make is like oversized for guys that are not slim. So anyway, but yeah, you will enjoy my blue shirt. First news article of the story: experts still examining the Luzerne County prison elevator in wake of deaths. I don't know really what they're examining. The article doesn't really go into a whole lot of detail other than the fact that they're trying to examine whether or not the elevator doors that were, horizontal sliding should have been hinged on the top that would allow that to happen. And if you're listening to this, it's the Gibbs that gave way most likely. This is my own opinion. If there were safety retainers, probably not, but that's it. So I don't quite understand. There's not a whole lot of information there, and it sounds like somebody from the Times Leader had some information from somebody, an inspector or somebody from the county or the institute that was checking it out, and that's pretty much all they had to share. So I'm sure you'll find that the force going through the doors was pretty significant. So whether or not it was a maintenance issue or something like that is a whole other story. Okay, St. John City Market escalator upgrades are complete. This is coming from CBC.ca. Good news. And again, must be a slow news story if we are, if they're covering articles regarding a new escalator at a market. So construction took almost 8 months, but old escalator was broken longer. So there you go. So enjoy the new escalator, people, and stop bitching about it. And be safe. More importantly, ride the damn things safely, okay? Yeah, all right. I'm tired. Sorry. Okay, I think this occurred in... Oh, no, I'm sorry. Washington Monument elevators back in the news. Yeah, this seems to be a common occurrence. Apparently, a breaker tripped, which shut the elevator down. They had to evacuate people that were at the top of the building, and there were some employees that were trapped for about 40 minutes. So it has quite a bit of articles regarding the elevator, and Bill Snyder, of quality elevator was actually included in an interview that you can probably check out if you just click on the link, and talking about having to replace the elevator. And unfortunately, I don't think it's that old. I think it was installed in, I don't even know, but I'm not going to say when it was, but it seems like a newer elevator, and trying to figure out why it's not functioning as intended is probably some consultant's job at this moment to try to make some changes or specify some equipment that's going to last a little bit longer. Okay, man found dead atop freight elevator. A Wichita Eagle is reporting that this is at an apartment building complex. Excuse me. If we can shut all this stuff down. Menards, we don't want to go there, although I like that store. Apparently, the incident occurred sometime between 7 and 8:42 p.m. And we get out of this ad area, and they are not. Investigators are not thinking this was a foul play type of situation. Although I don't know why they wouldn't necessarily rule it out unless there was evidence that would point to something being wrong with the elevator, or maybe somebody falling through doors. I don't know. I'm just allegedly stating this, but still tragedy, and obviously, I don't know if we'll ever learn more about this or not, but still, yikes. Okay, come on. See if I can go back. Yeah, it's locked me into some ad thing. Man, Kansas.com, come on. This is not how you get people to come back to your website at all. Go back, can't go back because I can't get out of the ad. Okay, maybe they'll let me know. Yeah, man, they sure push a whole bunch of crap, don't they? All these sites. I really kind of get worried about linking half of them because there's literally, you can have all sorts of stuff embedded, blah, 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 and banner ads, and man, they're just people that just want to wreak havoc with your computer, and that's the last thing any of us, need on top of a busy day. Okay, solution that works for History Center's new elevator. Athens Messenger reporting that installation of an elevator at the Southeast Ohio History Center in Athens ran into a snag. Actually ran into a lot of sand and clay. Oops. You figure somebody would have... who in the world has the best drinking water? Oh, gosh, USA. Why not? Anyway, and apparently they revealed about 15 feet of sand on top of the clay, and the bedrock is about 40 to 42 feet down. Let's see here. What is the problem here? I think they have an issue. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know if it's a hydraulic they can't get through. Oh, support pad for the elevator. Okay. Hey, how about putting in one of those Phoenix modular elevators? Those are pretty slick. I don't think you'd need as much of a pad for an elevator for that, but I could be wrong. I don't know. But those are pretty cool. If you've seen one of those, it's goes in the outside of a building, pretty cost effective, and they're pretty slick. Okay. This next news article is not really a news article. It's a video. I'm gonna click on it really quickly, and then I'm gonna let you watch it on your own because there's gonna be an ad that's gonna preload. It's a video, 30-second video coming from Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, stuff.co. New Zealand, and it's, I believe, a video of a gentleman who is riding in an elevator, and it's security, closed circuit TV type of footage. All of a sudden, you see him slam into the top of the elevator ceiling. I mean, violently, to the point where you're like, I don't think he's alive anymore. I've never seen a video like this. It's terrifying, and if I ever go to China, never gonna run an elevator. I would gladly take the stairs. Yeah, kind of scary. So check it out. Okay, deadline is set for raising funds for library elevator. Now, when you look at this image of this elevator, it looks like it's pretty new. So it's a Berlin library on strict deadline to raise elevator funds. They've got a grant, but they've got to match it. And they're trying to get up this hill from wherever the parking lot is to the elevator or to the building. And it's just one of those things where you kind of wonder how it wasn't thought of in the first place, but kind of crazy. So link is in the show notes. You want to check that out. I'm sure this happens more often than not. I'm dealing with clients right now that have forgotten to do half of the stuff that they were supposed to do, and then it's rush. I need tomorrow, inspections tomorrow. And for all of you out there who are contractors, I don't get it. I know you don't do it as a majority, but man, I mean, I get calls from I get calls from mechanics who are like, I got an inspection at 10 o'clock, and I don't have the car station installed. I'm like, what is your... I would not have the inspection schedule until you have everything running and good to go. But I know there's probably other issues with that as well. I suspect. I bet inspection dates may not be able to be secured very easily, but the reality is like, man, if you know you're going to fail or you're going to need a re-inspection, just reschedule it. So anyway. Okay, awesome piece on woman elevator operator in New Zealand. You got to watch this. This just makes my day. Check out this elevator. Check out the elevator. And this is a elevator operator that is working at Durry Hill. And that's, I believe, in New Zealand. But great piece. Hats off to all the elevator operators out there who are still doing it. I would imagine that the number of rides that she's been on or taken people on is probably in the millions. So very cool. Congratulations to her. And it looks like a cool office to have. I have to tell you, if I had an elevator office, that's probably the one I would want to have for sure. So last news article of the week, coming from the Ventura County Star in California. Crews help boy whose foot got stuck in an escalator at Pacific View Mall. Crews were sent to help a boy who got his foot stuck in an escalator Thursday evening at the Pacific View Mall in Ventura. Officials said the incident was reported at 6:05 p.m. And anyway, crews at the scene reported they were at the escalators on the west side of the mall near Target, and they had a minor entrapment. So I'm glad the little boy's foot was freed. And just as a reminder, keep those feet away from the sides. Make sure you pick them up, and be careful. Just be careful and spread that word. I with all these accidents and stuff, I swear to you, when I was on vacation, I was at a Target, literally at a Target, and they had one of those automated, they had the cart-o-matic things that, that Flo makes, and they're pretty slick, but I was terrified watching people ride the escalator because literally there were little kids on it, and I was getting anxious. I was to the point where I'm like, oh, pick up your feet, and they did, but it was like, when I learned how to ride an escalator from my mom and dad, they made me count 1, 2, 3, lift your foot up, almost jump off the damn escalator, thinking the thing was going to eat you. And as a child with the comb teeth, you kind of got that impression. So not that my parents ever said they're dangerous or anything, and they're not when ridden correctly and safely. But it was just something that always stuck with me, and it was always something that made sure my shoelaces were tied before I visited. So yeah, make sure they know this. This is not common knowledge, and I can't tell you how many people think that an escalator is either an amusement ride or it is 100% safe, no matter how you ride it. So make sure you're spreading the word on safety, and it's all of our parts. Honestly, it's all of our parts. It's not just up to the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation. So do your part, spread the word on safety, and share your share your stories. So anyway, well, that's gonna do it for the show, everybody. I told you it was short and sweet, and other than the guy being found on top of the elevator dead, it wasn't too bad in terms of accidents. But a little boy getting his foot stuck was not good. So obviously we have work to do all around, whether it's spreading the news, the information on safety, or whatever. So anyway, I'm tired now. I gotta get a full day of work in there. I hope everybody is having an okay week or a good week. And if you had a bad day, remember those bad days are what make you appreciate the good ones. So that's kind of how to put things in perspective. And if you have a real bad day, just kind of recharge your batteries and try to take a step back and realize what's important to you. And hopefully that's your family. So, all right, everybody. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week out there. And thanks for tuning in, listening to the show. We'll be back next Wednesday. Be safe, and talk to you next week. Bye-bye.